Tuesday, February 27th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. I want to look at the markets this morning. There's not much else to talk about. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about the Olympics. To be honest, I watched 0 minutes of the Olympics, but I've read a few articles and I saw a few things the last few days about the Olympics that surprised me. But I think the markets right now, especially currency markets, are consolidating. You know, the dollar, gold, precious metals. Is it the calm before the storm? I don't know. The stock market seems to have calmed down. We rallied almost 400 points yesterday, I think, in the Dow. We've gone through that 61.8 retracement of the high this year, all-time high at 26,600 or so, to the low at around 23,360. Are we going to go make a new high? Personally, I don't think so. The Fed, in my opinion, probably helped a little bit. Last week, they came out and said that they'd be ready another time to do QE or LSAP, as they call it now, large-scale asset purchase, another, you know, kind of euphemism for money printing. I'm not sure. Bond yields have calmed down. We're at now around 286 in the 10-year yield. We got up to a high of around 295. We haven't gone and tested that 3% level yet. So yeah, it's fairly quiet. Cryptocurrencies have rebounded somewhat, but are still struggling. Not much direction there. So it's around 20 to 8 a.m. So gold is now 1333.60. The range has been 1331 to 1337. Yesterday, again, as usual, the market was strong in the morning, very strong actually, got up to 1340. And then as the US came in, it started, you know, drifting lower and lower and lower. I've been following gold since 2002, and I have to thank people like Bill Murphy from GATA for opening my eyes to the manipulation of gold. Plus, I worked in the city of London closely with all the markets. I spoke to people and I saw the markets every day, and I could tell trend, you know, that every time the US came in, if gold was doing well, it would drift off in the afternoon. It doesn't happen all the time, but someone's made a study that if you strip out the move, you know, the gold market from, let's say, around 1:30 London time to around 6 London time, which is when the US comes in and starts, you know, trading regular hours. If you strip out that part of the gold market, gold would be like at $4,000 or something, because, you know, if you buy gold on the US Open, which is around 8:20 New York time, and you sell it at 1:30 New York time, you'd be losing money for the last 20 years if you buy on the open and sell on the close. It's amazing. So to those people who say gold is not manipulated, you know, markets are not supposed to work like this. Silver doing quite well. Well, actually, it's not doing well. It's down 4, 1662. But it's not like making big moves lower. Looking at the chart, it looks like its coiling is getting tighter and tighter. The range has been 1658 to 1671, so not much happening there. The Dow is up 20 points, 25,720. So we blew through that retracement level, but still below the all-time highs. S&P down 1 point, 2778. The NASDAQ is down 5 at 6981. Currencies are very quiet. Pound or sterling is up 0.1%, 139.81. Euro is at 123.33, up a third. No, up 0.1%. And dollar is virtually unchanged against the yen, 106.91. Looking at crude oil, I haven't looked at it for a while. It's still holding there above 60. It's around 64. I think 66 is still a good resistance. And as I said, the 10-year yield is at actually 286 right now, well below that 295 level. So it's been drifting lower in the last week or so, and that's calmed the markets down, it looks like. You know, those comments by the Fed probably did help, or maybe it's just cycles. So let's have a look at the charts. I brought up a couple of charts here. Spot gold. It's a daily chart. You can see that we're actually holding above the 50-day moving average. And yesterday was a up day, but we didn't finish near the highs. And today we're continuing to see the market trade fairly well. It looks like they tried, you know, last week to get gold to trade down and retest the February 8th low, but they didn't manage. And it looks right now we're seeing, you know, higher highs and higher lows in gold. So it looks all right. And it's holding on to that 50-day moving average. The other chart that I wanted to look at, and it's quite interesting, is the dollar yen. And it's the daily chart. And one thing I noticed is that we've had a crossing. You can call it whatever you want, you know, a death cross or whatever. But notice the black moving average, which is the 100-day, that line is crossed below the 200-day moving average. Why is that important? Well, because in the bear market for anything, you want to see the longer term moving average be above the shorter term ones, and that's the first time in a while there that we've been able to see the 200-day above the 100 and above the 50, which is way below. And to me, it looks like we're consolidating here in the dollar versus the yen, and that the trend is lower. So I expect the dollar to drop lower, and that should be positive for gold, because as I've spoken before, seems to be for the last 4 years a inverse relationship between the dollar versus yen and the price of gold. So when the dollar weakens against the yen, we should expect to see gold strengthen. So that's a good sign there for the yen, or a bad sign for the dollar, and indirectly good for gold, in my opinion. Silver. Let's have a quick look at silver. Yeah, as I said, silver, this is a weekly chart, and as you see here, it looks like a coil. The coil is getting small, it's coiling smaller and smaller in silver, but directionless really at the moment. You could say that it's going sideways. So we need something to happen to see silver, move higher. Maybe I'm wrong. It's going to move lower. I don't know. Well, quickly to the Olympics now, Winter Olympics. Yeah, as I said, I didn't watch 1 minute of it. I think the only time I saw something, I was at my golf club, and they had a television on with the early in the morning with the curling, which is an interesting sport. I've curled before, but I've been reading the last few days. I didn't even realize that the Russians didn't compete officially for Russia. They competed. They couldn't wear Russian uniforms, and they competed as Olympic athletes from Russia because they were, the Russians have been demonized and accused of doping. I think it's rubbish, and I just read a story that a Russian curling team, husband and wife, were banned of their bronze medal because they tested for a substance that wouldn't help at all. And out of the blue, the guy was tested for it, so they stripped him of their medals. So what does this all mean? I think, and all the Russian bashing, and there's no proof for it. Russia helped the U.S. elections. Russia helped Brexit. I think it's just the deep state, whatever you want to call it, the elite, the New World Order, globalists. They're still trying to divide people, to have an excuse to divide, to start a conflict, in my opinion, and that's not a good thing. But that's why I don't watch any more of the mainstream media. That's why I don't watch the sports anymore. The only sport I watch is golf, because I play golf and I enjoy it, but anything else. But I guess, I missed that about the Russians. But yeah, I just think it's silly. Should they have banned Canada from the 92 Olympics or the Winter Olympics after Ben Johnson was tested negative in 1988? Should they demonize Canada? No. So there you go. I think they're still trying it on, divide and conquer, the public. And why do they do that? Well, to distract you from more important things, like the fact that we have a huge debt bubble that we can't afford to keep, running. And that our economies and financial systems have not been fixed. They've just been patched up for the last 10 years. So, yeah, they want to keep the spotlight away from the important things. So that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Follow me on steemit.com and on Twitter. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.